Hello, everyone. Whether you are onshore or offshore, whether you are a current student or thinking about joining us in the future, we are very excited to welcome you here today to our virtual career fair. And this will be a series of live webinars, which will run for 5 weeks in total. So this is our first one today. So let me introduce myself. I am Carol and I am the Student Success Coach here at Ozford. And this is Jessica, who will also be hosting today.
Hi everyone, my name's Jess and I'm your career coach. I'm just letting everyone know that this session will be recorded. So if you're interested in rewatching this session, just to gather your thoughts again, we'll post it on our Facebook, so check out our Facebook. Also, if you guys have any questions during our session, please leave it in the chat box below. We'll get to it as soon as possible. Back to you, Carol.
Thank you. All right. So we want to start by letting you know a little bit about what me and Jess do. So we want to talk about our student success program. So I actually have a video here that we would like to show all of you, where I will be explaining what our success program is and how this can benefit you. Go ahead, Jess. Hi everyone, I'm Carol, the Student Success Coach here at Ozford. Today I'm here to talk to you about our Student Success Programme. Ozford Student Success Programme helps you to develop the key skills you need to become job ready once you graduate. The programme will maximise your potential for academic success and prepare you to enter the job market with confidence. The programme helps you to work on a number of things, including your CV, cover letter, and even build a portfolio, which we like to call Ozfolio. The Ozfolio allows you to collect evidence and experience to showcase yourself to potential employers. As Student Success Coach, I'm here to assist any student who would like to strengthen their study and employability skills. If you're interested in booking an appointment, all student appointments are free and tailored to student needs. Just email me at the email displayed on this screen, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you. Okay, so as you saw in the video there, if you are wanting any advice or any assistance, you are welcome to book an appointment with me. So I will also drop my email into the chat box here so that you can email if you're interested. So I look forward to hearing from some of you, I hope. All right, let's get started. So this is going to be our program for the next 5 weeks. Obviously, this is our very first one, so we're very excited. And we will be running these sessions every Monday and every Thursday for the next 5 weeks. Every week we'll have a different topic, and every session will start at the same time, 12 p.m. Australian time, running for 1 hour. So as you can see on the screen, session 1 today, we're doing our welcome, and also we're going to be discussing today how to achieve academic success. Next week is all about job applications. So if you're interested in knowing what the job application process is like, think you need a bit of advice on that, a little bit of help, that's what we'll be covering next week. Session 3 will be how to write a successful resume and cover letter, but also increasing your potential academically and professionally. We're going to be looking at the Ozfolio, which is basically a portfolio, evidence of all your work, your experience, volunteer experience, all of that kind of stuff that we'll be putting together and showcasing to potential employers. Session 4 will be looking at interviews. So what are the common interview questions which arise? What are the difficult ones that arise? How do you answer them? How can you impress an employer in an interview? And how can you successfully get that job that you want? And finishing off in session 5, which will be Monday 1st of November and Thursday 4th of November, we will be looking at internships and work experience placements. So how to get them, we'll be talking about our internship programs in our higher education degrees that we do here at Ozford, and how you can make the most of any kind of placement experience, volunteer experiences, these kinds of things. So lots to cover every week. However, if there is anything that's not here on the screen that you would be interested in us covering, please feel free to drop any ideas into the chat box today, and we'll try and implement those things that you say into our program for the next 5 weeks. Okay. All right, so today is how to achieve academic success. So before we go through any of our advice, let's have a quick open question to everybody. We have a link here, which I'm actually going to paste into the chat box. And if everybody could click the link that's in the chat box now, it's going to take you to a question. And the question is, in your opinion, your perspective, what is academic success? So type your answer on. It should appear on the screen when everybody puts their answers in. We'll give it a few minutes and let's see what people come up with. Okay, we'll wait for a few more answers, 1 more minute. Give a chance for everybody to have a go. Okay, we've got a few ideas coming up on the screen. Feel free to keep going if you are writing. I'm going to start going through some of these. So what is academic success? Well, it can be a lot of things. Let's see what we've got here. Pass all subjects. Yes, that's something that we're going to be talking about today, making sure that you are passing all the requirements of your course in order to graduate on time. So that's great. Subject knowledge and successfully attaining knowledge. Yes, as we say here at Ozford, knowledge is power. Making sure that you're taking in all the information that your lecturers are giving to you, and also doing that extra reading as well that you have to do on the side of it. It's not just learning what you're doing in class, but also spending time out of class to strengthen that knowledge as well. Great. Success at school improves self-esteem. It does, yes, it's very important to try your best, because it will improve that confidence. will give you self-esteem. Good. Personal achievement of high grades. Yeah, definitely, doing your best in exams, doing your best in assessments, and trying to achieve those grades that you are capable of doing. Developing skills, very important. Yeah, I mean, you're going to develop so many skills if you attend class, if you do the extra work around it and make the most of the course that you're enrolled into. We've got achieving high scores again, so that's good. And a very funny one, happy parents. Yes, well, we want happy parents, but we also want happy students as well. So good, we've got some great ideas there. So thank you for sharing. And we've got something in the chat box as well from Zainab. Thank you. Living a healthy and happy life. Absolutely. It's not just about those grades and those scores. It's also about, yourself and being happy and healthy and being able to achieve successfully. Great. Okay, so we're going to share with you today our 7-step process to be academically successful. So we know that when you enroll in university or college or even going to school, it can be an overwhelming experience, not only because you've got lots of assessments and work to do, but also the schedule can sometimes be quite heavy, and you've got to have that healthy, work-life balance as well. But despite it being an overwhelming experience, it can also be the most valuable experience, as I personally think as well. You meet lots of amazing people. You're gaining skills that you maybe wouldn't have before. You're attaining all that knowledge and using it to forward your future and your career. So you really want to make the most of your time. So academic achievement is vital because it sets the stage of future educational and occupational opportunities. So you have to remember that you are responsible for your academic achievements, and you need to make sure that you're doing well in class, taking advantage of every opportunity that is there, extracurricular opportunities in particular, which we'll of course be talking about in one of our sessions later on in this series, and also making sure that you're prepared for after graduation as well. So once you graduate, are you ready to go on to the next step as well? Because that can sometimes be a scary step. So here are some tips that we're going to share, me and Jess, with you to utilize your learning to achieve this academic success. So step 1, setting goals. So setting goals is super important because it gives you direction in what you want to achieve short term or long term, okay? And this will allow you to focus and give attention to the important things, to the necessary things that you want to set out to do. It'll also provide you with motivation and effort. You'll be putting effort into the necessary things that you want to do in order to achieve those goals. And lastly, as we talked about, I think someone mentioned this, self-esteem, giving you the confidence as well to achieve your goals. So you've probably heard of this before, but there are such things called SMART goals. And SMART goals are basically criteria or questions that you would think about when setting these goals. So the first thing is specific. Are your goals specific? What do you exactly want to do? So make sure that your goal is not too broad. Make sure that you really are clear about what it is that you want to set out to do. The next point is, are they measurable? So how will you know when you have reached this goal, when you've achieved it? Are your goals achievable and attainable? Is it in your power to accomplish them? Are you making it too difficult? You need to think about these things. And are they realistic? So make sure that your goals are, within your capabilities, that you're not, making goals that are unattainable. You want to ensure that they are realistic, achievable, and measurable. And the final one is timely. So make sure that you set timelines for your goals so that you know that you can tick them off, and that is going to give you the confidence to then start the next goal and keep going. So follow the SMART goal criteria. You've probably heard of it before, but it's really useful when you're setting out future achievements, future goals, future targets. And this could be long-term or short-term, big or small, but make sure that you think about these questions here. All right, over to you, Jess.
So we have step 2. And step 2 is to have a positive attitude. So be optimistic about your ability to succeed. So having a positive frame of mind can impact your potential. Actively working towards these positive thoughts can greatly improve your confidence and lead you to your life goals. Look forward to learning something new. This will change your brain chemistry and lead to a sense of self-efficacy. Have an inquiry mind and get curious about your subjects. Pick subjects that you like. Don't pick any subjects that you think, this is not me. Usually with positive attitudes, when you pick subjects that you generally really like, you'll have a more positive outlook towards it, and you will definitely find a career path in that. So engage in your volunteer work, extracurricular activities, and keep an eye out for internship opportunities. This is very important during your study. Make sure you're engaging in the community and really building that sense of self.
Some really important points there. Okay, step 3. Okay, another one, very important. They're all important, but this is managing your time. So making sure that you have good time management, making sure that you're using your time efficiently. Set realistic schedules for yourself, okay? So you do have to have that healthy, happy work-life balance. But, when you're enrolled in university or college, there is a lot of subjects and units that you do have to manage. So it's really important to get organized. So set out a schedule for yourself, weekly schedule, monthly schedule, semester schedule, and make sure that you're putting in enough time to cover your readings. Make sure you're putting in your class times and attending those as well. And usually the recommended time for studying is 2 to 3 hours for every hour of class that you attend. So making sure that you're doing the extra reading on top, because when you go to university and college, you become the independent learner and there's no one there tracking you. You do have to be organized yourself and make sure that you're covering all that. But also taking time for yourself, making sure you're still fitting in time for socializing, eating, all of the things that you enjoy doing as well. We don't want to just focus solely on, your studies. There has to be other things as well. So managing your time, very important. And as I said before, is different from high school. In high school, your teachers are always chasing you up for work. It's very different in university and college. You are essentially an adult and you have to, be responsible for yourself. So no one's going to be tracking you and chasing up those late assignments. If you don't hand in your assignment, that's your loss. Okay, so make sure that you are prepared and importantly, know what your priorities are. So set your priorities and make sure that you are doing them.
So we have step 4. And that is to read your textbooks and course readings. And I know this is probably the one that everyone struggles with the most, is the pre-readings. And, I too struggle with them sometimes as well. But what I would recommend is scanning through the chapters before you read the full text. So I personally find that you can identify important concepts by looking for bold or italicized words. Review your chapters and readings before your class. It's also important to reread it after your class, just so you can consolidate all that knowledge and what you've just learnt. Make sure you write study notes as you progress through your notes. There are different ways to take notes, but the most crucial aspect in note-taking is creating an effective and efficient study note for yourself. This might mean that you might need to trial other note-taking methods before you find the one that's perfect for you personally. Once again, review, reread, and make your notes. Do this as it's very, very, very important in class. So success in college depends heavily on your preparation outside of class. So don't do it when you're just sitting there waiting for your lecturer to talk to you about it. Do it before and after. Spend time reviewing and reading and keep up a good routine. I personally find that once I get out of a routine, it's kind of hard to find that motivation to come back again. So set time, like Carol said before, manage your time well. Keep up that good routine and really review those notes and try your best to avoid procrastination. I think everyone is the same. We all find it sometimes we're going to procrastinate here and there, but try your best to manage your time really well. And I think this will definitely help you progress through your course.
Absolutely. Okay, step 5 is attend your lectures. Now, again, this is something that is hard to keep up with. You know, as I mentioned before, going to university and college, you become more of an independent learner. It's kind of like you're responsible for your own success. I mean, you are in school as well, but the difference is that attendance isn't always as strict. Depends where you go, but attendance isn't always as strict in universities, and I think a lot of students think that they can get away with not attending and it'll be fine, I'll just do the course reading. But as Jess mentioned before, you know, course reading isn't so great. It's hard to motivate yourself, and if you do the course reading but don't attend the lectures, things are not going to make sense. So making sure you attend your lectures is so important, because you are going to learn something and intend to learn something when you go to these classes. Make sure that you have that intention to learn something every time. Make sure you do the readings before class. And then when you go to these lectures, you go to your classes, they're going to make much more sense to you. And also, additionally, making sure that you're sitting at the front of the class, making sure that you're, or if you want to, sit at the front of the class, because having that rapport with the tutor, the lecturer as well, letting them get to know you is going to make your uni life a lot more easier. Making sure that you ask questions as well, which we'll talk about in a moment. So here is a very important note I want to talk about, is don't rely on a magic number of classes that you think you can miss and still do well, okay? You should be turning up to every class as much as possible, because these are important content and discussions that you will miss if you don't go. And it just sets you back, okay? You miss a class, you miss something important, it sets you back. And once you get out of that schedule and routine, and once you miss one, then you think it's okay to miss more. And, you know, we're all guilty of it, but try to attend as much as you can. So, and another important factor is that some professors, some lecturers, they do weigh participation into your final grade. Depending on where you go, you know, sometimes you go to universities and there's huge classes and the tutor may not know you name by name. At Ozford, it's very different. We are a very small community. It's very intimate, and your tutors know you name by name. So if you're not attending your class, you don't want to make sure that your grades are affected by attendance, okay? And only miss class if you genuinely have to. And if you do, it's very important to just give a heads up to your lecturer, let them know, drop them an email, say, sorry, I'm not going to be in today, but I'll catch up with all the content. Please, can you let me know what I missed? If you do need a real incentive though, and this is always one that I always used to think about, is consider the cost of each class hour. You are paying for your studies, especially as international students. We are paying for our studies and it's not cheap. And, you know, you don't want to be looking like you're throwing money in the bin, okay? So remember, those classes are precious. It's your money. Make sure you're using it properly. And as I quickly mentioned earlier, asking questions, giving answers and contributing in classes is super important, because not only does it mean you're taking an active part in classes, but it'll actually help you understand the material more and understand the content better as well. And I think also when you become more engaged in a class and you're having conversations with tutor or classmates, it just makes the whole process much more enjoyable. So definitely push yourself. It's easy, especially when you're online as well. You're online to hide behind a screen, but get involved, because it does make the process so much more enjoyable, and for your tutor as well.
So now we have step 6, almost there. And this one is to record your lecture notes. So take your notes during your class, Remember to review and edit your notes after class, and this is preferably within 24 hours just to really consolidate your notes and your learning. Aim to review your notes about 3 to 4 times before your exams. You can always use tools such as like flashcards or drawing diagrams or highlighting important points. Like I was saying before, you might need to try out different note-taking methods before you find the perfect one for you. Because I know personally for me, I tend to go with flashcards, and that's because I'm more of a visual learner and I like to learn that way. But for you, you might like to draw diagrams, you're more of a visual learner, and that's totally fine. Just make sure you trial them and get them down pat before your exams, just so you're ready to go. And as you can see on the slide, if you are a future student or a current student or in our higher education, all of our lectures are recorded, and it's in this format here. You can always access them and just go through them again just to consolidate your notes once again. So a little note here, your memory is never as good as you think it is. And I'm really guilty of this. I'll take notes here and there and I'll be like, oh, there's this one word here, I'll remember it later. And then an hour later, I'm like, I don't know what this one word means. So really consolidate those notes. So take good notes, as they will keep you engaged in class and discussions. They will also form a good basis to study for exams, like I said previously.
And our final step, step 7, which actually leads nicely on from what Jess was just saying, is preparing for exams. So obviously, you know, when you're starting your semester, you're building up for that crucial time for the exam time. So you want to be prepared and organised, just as I was mentioning before with time management. Make a revision schedule, because this will again help you to think about what units, what topics you're going to be studying that day, what you need to revise for, maybe which ones you're struggling with the most, and also give yourself equal time for breaks and things like that. Don't want to overwork yourself. And like Jess was saying, you know, you need to find your groove. You need to find what works for you, what kind of learner you are, whether you're a visual learner, an auditory learner. Again, I'm a visual learner, so I'm very much flashcards, cue cards, that kind of thing as well. But a good thing is to look at past exams, be familiar with the kinds of questions that are going to arise, and maybe make your own practice study questions as well. And if you're able to, find a way to memorize definitions. I always used to use cue cards when I was at university, or even in high school. I used my cue cards, and that used to help me color coordinate them with all the subjects. It's also time to be fun. If you're a little bit of a geek like me and you like to highlight things in colors and things like that, then it's always a good way as well. And I think there's another pointer there. Yes, very important, is so vital to eat well-balanced meals and rest and get enough sleep, minimum of 8 hours per night, to optimize your brain performance. So if you're not getting enough sleep and you're not eating healthily, you're not going to perform well academically. So you do have to look after yourself and make sure that you are, you know, rested. So those were our 7 steps for achieving academic success. So we'll just review through them. Step 1, setting goals. Making sure you know what you want to achieve by the end of the course, by the end of the semester, by the end of the week. What's weekly goals, long-term goals, short goals. But make sure you're following that SMART method that we talked about before. Step 2, have a positive attitude. You know, no such thing as can't. You can always do things, and make sure that you're going in with an open mind, you know. And step 3, managing your time, being organized and being efficient. Step 4, reading your textbooks and course readings. So making sure that you're independently working outside of class time as well. Do the work. It's going to help you in the long run. Step 5, attend your lectures. So make sure that you're turning up as much as you can, engaging with your classmates, contributing, asking questions, being inquisitive. It makes it much more enjoyable. Step 6, record your lecture notes. As Jess was mentioned before, all resources usually go on a platform. Here at Ozford, we put everything on Moodle, so you'll be able to rewatch your lectures, look at all the resources and worksheets and things like that you've done in class and go over them. But also it's very important to take notes as well, just for your own. Sometimes your own notes make more sense than other people's, so definitely record lecture notes. And finally, when it gets to exam time, make sure you're prepared and organised for that as well. And remember, a student's success is Ozford's success, so we want to ensure that all our students are academically successful. So we hope that these 7 steps have helped you. And I think we have a couple of minutes left before we play a video if anyone has any questions that they'd like to ask, feel free to drop any questions in the chat box while we get the video ready. And a very important notice on the screen here is to make sure that you complete all requirements to graduate on time. So if anyone does have any questions, please drop in the chat box and we can answer them. And we'll start this video in a minute if there are no further questions.
Yeah. Okay.
We have talked.
Sorry. I'll play this video. So just to break it up a little bit, so we're not always talking at you. Thomas Frank is going to go through 8 habits of highly successful students. I think these are quite interesting and they're different from our steps, so you can utilize both ours and Thomas Frank's. If you do have any questions, drop them down below. We'll be reading them. And here's the video.
Talked a lot on this channel about how to do well academically, how to study effectively, how to ace your tests, and how to crush those homework assignments even when you have barely any time to do them. But of course, successful students don't just do well academically, they do well all around. So that begs the question, what separates truly successful students who have it all together in all areas of their lives from everyone else? Well, that's what I want to talk about in this video, and today we're going to cover 8 habits of successful students. And yes, this is definitely a riff off of Stephen Covey's excellent book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which I have read and loved, but these 8 habits are unique. These come from my own observations of people that I know who are successful and things I've tried to cultivate in my own life, and I think every single one of them is going to help you in the upcoming semester. So let's dive right in. To start things off, successful students are forward thinkers. J.R.R. Tolkien wrote in The Hobbit that it does not do to leave a live dragon out of your calculations if you live near him. And as a student, you have a lot of live dragons to contend with, not just on the academic side of things, but on all fronts. You've got your career plans, you've got relationships, you have your living situation, errands you need to run. There is a lot to keep track of. And when I was in college, I had a lot of friends who always seemed to be scrambling to get these things done at the last second. They were basically letting life sneak up on them. But if you can build a forward-thinking mindset, this isn't going to happen to you. And you'll also position yourself for opportunities that would pass others by. So if you're not already a natural forward thinker, if you're not automatically thinking of things that are coming up in the near future, how do you become one? Well, I definitely think it is possible because I didn't used to be one, but now I am. When I was a kid, I remember my mom would just look up from whatever she was doing oftentimes and ask me, "Hey Thomas, have you brushed your teeth today?" And I remember thinking how do you think of stuff like that? I wasn't talking about brushing my teeth, you weren't brushing your teeth, it just popped into your mind. And eventually I realized it was because she cared about the health of her sons and she was simply being mindful about it. And I worked to become that kind of a person myself. So if you're like I was back then, you don't already have this mental machinery put into place, the first step is to build some structures into your everyday routines that remind you to think in a forward-thinking manner. One good way to start doing this is to create a reminder in your task management system or your calendar to sit down once a week and think, what do I have coming up in the near future? Do I need to sign up for classes? Well, then I should make a reminder for the exact time that the class scheduler opens so I can get in there and get my classes before everyone else takes the good ones. Or do I need to get an apartment soon? If you live in a college town like I did, then it's likely that every apartment complex is going to have their leases start around the exact same time. And because of that, everyone's going to be signing leases all in one big drove. So do yours early, otherwise come next semester, you're going to be living in a van down by the river. And while you're going through this mental exercise, also think about your relationships. Maybe you have somebody who has a birthday coming up soon, or you have a friend that you haven't talked to in a while. I find that when you actually think about these things, and when you apply a forward-thinking mindset to your relationships, you tend to maintain them better. And this is important because as people get older, they start to get busier and they start to have less time for their friends. And it's only people who are deliberate about maintaining their relationships that actually keep them. The second habit is that successful students deliberately move towards adulthood. They don't let adulthood sneak up on them. And by that, I'm not talking about becoming a person who hates fun and tells kids to get off their lawn, but every human is going to have skills they need to build and challenges they need to face at some point in their lives. And a lot of people try to push those things off as much as they possibly can. But if you can become the kind of person who is willing to take on those things early, I'm talking about things like having your own bank account, doing your own taxes, or filling out your own financial aid forms, or like learning how to iron a shirt or do your own laundry, then once you have to do those things, you've already got that base of skills to apply to them. Habit number 3, successful students strive to become what I like to call solution finders. They're the kind of people that when faced with a tough problem that doesn't have an immediately apparent solution, they are willing to push through and figure out how to solve it. And sadly, a lot of students aren't like this. A friend of mine named Matt is a web developer at a pretty big company, and this company values this solution finding mindset so much that they have a rule for people who get stuck on problems. They call it the 15-minute rule. Essentially, if an employee gets stuck on a problem, they have to spend 15 more minutes working on that problem before they're allowed to ask for help. And during that time, they have to document everything they do and write down what didn't work, so that way when they do ask for help, they're able to give context to the person who's helping them. Additionally, once they hit that 15-minute mark, they must ask for help. And this rule creates a nice balance. It makes them be independent and solve problems on their own, but also ensures that they're not being so stubborn that they never ask for help. And that ensures that they're not wasting the company's time. And adopting this rule will actually prove very useful to you as a student, because if you're willing to solve problems independently, you're going to solve a lot of them that you would have originally asked for help on. And if you do have to ask for help, you're going to show your teacher that you take the problems seriously and that you're not just crying out for help the moment things get tough. Habit number 4 is to start actively building relationships with your teachers, with your professors, and with other faculty members at your school or university. When you do this, you start to build a network of people who aren't just in your immediate age group or at your same level of progression. And it also has a couple of other very good benefits. Number 1, these people are going to be able to tell you about opportunities that you would have otherwise missed. And if you ever happen to need a letter of recommendation for a job application or a scholarship, those are going to be the people who you can go to, because now they know you and they trust you and they're going to be willing to do it. And you probably shouldn't ask for a recommendation from your roommate Jimmy. So how do you start building this network? Well, a great first step comes at the beginning of a new semester. Go up to the teacher at the end of each class, introduce yourself briefly, shake their hand, and just tell them you're excited to be there. That makes a really great first impression. Additionally, in your free time, if you happen to come across like an article that you think one of your professors would be interested in, email them that article. Just say, hey, I read this and I thought of you. I remember back in 2011, I was taking my first marketing class in college, and this was right around the time that Valve was getting ready to release Portal 2. And they did something really weird with the marketing for Portal 2. They had this weird convoluted game setup where people could buy games on Steam and play lots and lots of hours in those games, and that would all contribute to making Portal 2 release a couple of days early. So essentially they found a way to let all these other games that weren't selling all that well ride the coattails of this big anticipated game, and I thought that was a brilliant marketing strategy. So I found an article about it, I sent it to my marketing professor and said, hey, I think you'd be interested in this, and the next week he actually talked about it in class. So doing that definitely helped to build that relationship. The fifth habit is that successful students are always trying to learn outside of class. They're trying to learn from a variety of different sources, and they are branching out into different areas that aren't on their narrow major path. And I think this is really important to do, because once you start getting interested in a variety of different subjects and you start dabbling in different areas, you start to build this diverse web of connections in your brain that allows you to be more creative in your main work. Plus, when you take just a little bit of time to branch out from your major path, you might stumble onto something that actually proves to be a huge boon to your future career prospects. One great example is my best friend Martin. He's always been really interested in language learning, but he majored in MIS in college. But that didn't stop him from creating a blog all about how to learn new languages, and that actually got him some recognition in the language learning community. He was actually on a list of language learning experts pretty recently. Not to mention, the experience he got building that website actually led directly to him getting hired at a web development agency in our city right after graduating, who usually didn't like to hire recent graduates because he had a lot of experience that most people didn't have. Habit number 6 is to constantly be keeping your ear to the ground for opportunities. here's the thing, when you're in school, or especially when you're in college and university, there are a ton of opportunities around you, but you have to be willing to look for them and know where to look. One great thing to do is to be keeping your eye out for bulletin boards around your campus or in your school, because a lot of opportunities are going to be posted as flyers on those bulletin boards. Additionally, follow your school's social media accounts. And I'm not just talking about the main social media account, follow your professors and your teachers, follow departments that you're a part of, because a lot of these departments and professors, they're going to post opportunities that they think their students would be good fits for. And this habit is actually directly related to how I got my first internship, because I was following my school's career center on Twitter, and they posted a tweet about a big company in our area that was putting on this freshman leadership seminar. So I saw the tweet, I signed up, I got accepted, and at that event, I met a mentor who was instrumental in getting me hired at that internship. The seventh habit is that successful students put a lot of effort into keeping themselves both physically and mentally fit. When you're a student who's ambitious, there's often this general mindset that you should be spending all of your time studying or pursuing opportunities. And when a lot of students do this, they often let their nutrition habits, their exercise habits, and their sleep go by the wayside. And what's worse, they'll often work themselves to the point where they mentally burn out, or they become depressed or have a lot of anxiety. And the sad thing is, when they're letting their physical and mental health go by the wayside, they aren't able to perform in the things that they really want to do in the first place. And truly successful students know this, which is why they make time for exercise. They make time for making good, healthy meals or getting them at the dining center. And they also get enough sleep every single night. And one little side note that I'll make here, successful students are willing to ask for help if they need it. If they're dealing with mental burnout or anxiety or depression, they will go ask a professional if they can't deal with those issues themselves. And that brings us to the final habit on the list. Successful students try things before they think they're ready. I want to underline this idea with something that Neil Pasricha talks about in his book, The Happiness Equation. In the book, he talks about how people generally approach new skills or challenges and how they do it in a linear way. They feel like they have to be able to do it first, and then they'll want to do it, and finally, they'll do it. But when you think this way, you never actually get to do the thing because you never gain the skills to do it in the first place. So Neil encourages you to take that linear model and make it circular. Do, which leads to can do because you're gaining skills through doing. That leads to want to do, and the circle repeats and enforces itself. Plus, you're often much more qualified than you think you are. A lot of students and a lot of people in general deal with imposter syndrome. They think, who am I to do this? I don't have a certification, I don't have a qualification, but in many cases, you don't need it. I'll give you an example. When I was a freshman in college, I really wanted to join a club on campus called Business Council. These were basically like the leaders of the business school at the university, but they had a rule. They only let people in who are sophomores and above. Very rarely would they make an exception for a freshman. So what did I think? I didn't think I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna, wait till I'm a sophomore. I thought I'm going to apply because what's the worst that's gonna happen? They're gonna reject me and I'll try again next semester. So I applied, I put my best foot forward, and I got accepted. And what's more, during my first semester as a member, I also got elected to the leadership board. So if something seems exciting to you, but it also seems a little scary, try it anyway, because that is what successful students do. That brings us to the end of my list, but if you have additional ideas or habits you think I left off of it, I would love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. So definitely let me know what you're thinking. If you liked this video, if you found it helpful, definitely give it a like to support this channel. If you're not subscribed yet, you can subscribe right there to get new videos every single week. And you can also get a
Great. Okay, so some, more detail into some of the things that me and Jess talked about, but whether you're currently enrolled in a course or you're thinking about starting university next year, put some of these things into practice and you'll definitely be a highly successful student. So that kind of brings us to the end of our webinar today. We are going to stay here because we're going to be doing a live raffle draw. Some people are up for winning some Amazon gift cards, but just before we start the raffle, want to let you know about next week. So next week, please join us again, same time, same day. We're going to be looking at job applications, applying for jobs, and tell your friends, get everyone registered, and we look forward to seeing you next week. It's going to be a very exciting and informative webinar next week, so please tune in. All right, we're going to do a raffle draw. So we want to make sure that everybody that's attending today is in that raffle. And I think anyone who's in the wheel, Jess, that's not here, we can remove if that's possible.
Yeah, I'm just
I can read out the names if you want.
Yeah. So I've got names that have registered. If you guys didn't register, leave a chat down below so I can pop your name in so you guys can have a chance to win the Amazon gift card. Let me see if I can open this. Okay, so we've got this big wheel for you guys. We're going to now start drawing. Let me just double check if everyone's name is in.
So I can read the names out and you can tell me if they're on the wheel. So we've got Akash.
Yes.
Yep. And Daisy.
Daisy, yes.
I can see Daisy. Helena.
Yes.
Yeah. Kun.
Yes.
Mandeep.
Yes.
Selena.
Yes, we do have Selena.
Sophia.
Yes.
Yep. And Zainab.
Yep.
Cool, I'm going to add that one here. Awesome. I think we've got everyone now.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So you can only win if you are attending today. So if it lands on anybody who's not attending, we'll have to just remove and keep going.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do the first draw. So the first winner is... by Theyre. So the first one is the Theyre. We will be emailing these out. So let me just write a note of who won. Now, we've got 5 winners, so stay tuned. We've still got 4 more to go, guys. So we've got another one. Second winner. But yeah, so we'll just remove that out of the list. And our third winner is Kun, you got one. Congratulations, you're our third winner. Got 2 more. Our 4th winner for today. And finally, our last winner for today will be So those are our 5 winners for today. Just a reminder, if you do want to go into the draw again, just register. We'll leave a link down below and you guys can have a chance to win on Thursday as well. So the winners will receive an Amazon gift card that will be emailed out to them. So once again, if you do want to have a chance, just register again for the Thursday session.
Yeah, and we'll note down everyone who's been here today as well. So.
Yeah.
Hey, Jess and Carol, just a note from me. Hi, everyone. This is Susan. For those winners who did not attend today, we will redraw the names.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can't win if you did not attend. Sorry, guys. So how many of those winners you drew did not attend today?
So we've got Kun that did attend. That's 1 out of 5. And I believe the rest. So
I think Agir and Samran did not attend.
Yeah, so Gira and Samran didn't attend. I don't see Jyoti's name here, unfortunately.
Jyoti didn't attend, so that's 3. So let's redraw 3 names. So we've got Kun and who was the 5th winner?
Giap Tran.
So,
Okay.
yeah, sorry, can I hold that? Kun, are you Dutton Win Hung? I think they are one. Kun, can you speak up, please? I think he is Dutton Win Hung, as I remember.
It's yeah in the chat box.
Oh, I cannot see the chat box.
Okay, so we have to redraw 3 names, is that right?
I think 4, right?
We've got to redraw 4.
Oh, yeah. That's Kun and Dutton Win Hung, they are one. There are actually one.
Hey, yeah, let's redraw 4 names then. Let's go again.
So let's do this again. I will just remove the ones that weren't attended today. So Sagir, we've also got I think I removed the other ones. Oh, so let's redo the draw. So we'll do another 4. So hopefully you guys' names are going to pop up. So here's the first out of 4.
Alina.
Hey, Selena. Hi. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Here's that name. And the second one out of 4.
We have to redraw that one as well.
Yeah. He's not here.
So let me just remove the individuals that I can see that have attended.
Yeah, you can delete that one as well. Minh Tuấn Trần, you can delete that one.
This one.
Yeah, and the one above.
And Khan.
Yeah, and the one above as well. She's Julia will attend Thursday instead.
Okay. Awesome.
Thoa, Bùi, and Daisy are actually 1. I think so.
Okay. So I'll remove
We should have
that.
7 here on the list here. Should have 7 only.
2, 3, 4.
Oh,
Let's go again. Right now.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, we'll do it now. So our third out of our 4th one. There's our checklist. So green. Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, that's Helena. Yeah.
Yeah. And our 4th one.
Who's that?
Kamal.
He's not here either.
So we'll remove that and do the last one again. Last one. Ooh. And the last one is Mandy. Awesome, congratulations.
Well done, everyone.
Thank you.
So now I believe.
All right.
Cool, we've got 5. Awesome,
Well done, everyone.
congratulations.
Everyone. That's very exciting. So we look forward to seeing some of you in our future sessions. Remember, we run every Monday and every Thursday. So if you can't make it Monday, come Thursday. If you can't make it Thursday, come Monday. Every week is a new topic. So next week, job applications. See you all there. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.